My question is this: what music lesson are you most grateful for? You might have to think back a little ways, right? But I'm here in Canada land, and this is our Thanksgiving weekend. So, first, I want to say thanks for joining me. And now I want you to think about what music lesson are you most thankful for? Is it your first music lesson? Maybe it was you're most thankful for your first music teacher. Maybe it was when you had that aha moment of learning your favorite song or realizing what a talent you had as a musician. So share with me in the chat box, what music lesson are you most grateful for? One of the most grateful lessons, one of the lessons that I'm most grateful for is probably my first music teacher, who was my father. And he really taught me a lot of the important things about learning music in our family jams. So actually right in my music studio here, my dad would bring in his guitar and my aunties would come with their violins and we would have our little family jam. And he, I think, taught me the importance of just jumping in and doing it rather than doing nothing and just being part of the audience, but just really participating. So that's probably my favorite lesson and the one that I'm most grateful for because it really propelled me into continuing my music education and learning even more. So welcome. And don't forget to share with me in the chat, what is the lesson you're most grateful for when you're thinking about your own musical journey? So today we're going to talk about our 3 notes. So let's see, what are the glory notes for today? Janet says, oh, she has a little comment for us. Hi, Janet. Thanks for joining me. So Janet says, the day my teacher finally convinced me that I can teach. See, isn't that interesting? I think too, sometimes we know we can play, we're musicians or singers, but sometimes we have that fear of, can I actually be a teacher? Like, what does that mean? It's a scary thing. I think when I was young, I started teaching when I was 16 years old. And, when you're 16, you just think you can do anything. And then when you get older, then you think, am I really a good teacher? So sometimes it's good when we just jump in and don't really know anything. And then later we can go, you know what? You are a teacher and you are a great teacher, Janet. So thanks for hanging out with me today and sharing that. One of the things I wanted to talk about today was the CEG. So you might say, well, okay, we know that is a C major triad, but I'm not talking about the C major triad today, but I am talking about C and E and G, and specifically how it pertains to music lessons. And we're talking today about being grateful. So let's learn the CEG technique. What do I mean by being grateful? Well, the first one, the letter C, stands for creativity. So when we talk about creativity as music educators, and we are all here as music educators, we really have an opportunity to impact the world through our music teaching. Sometimes we don't think that we have young students and we don't really think about the big picture, that these are the future educators, these are the future composers, these are the future singers, the music producers, the directors, all of these things that impact the world through music. I mean, it's this universal language that connects all of us. And I think when we really think about creativity, what can we do in our studios right now to introduce creativity? So one of the things that you might want to think about is, how can we incorporate composition? And if you are using the Ultimate Music Theory program, I just happen to have the little beginner C book here. So if you are using the Ultimate Music Theory workbooks, and you can see all of the program books on the back, but even though you're starting with young children, make sure that you start the creativity of composing. Because even if you said, just compose something on the black keys, there's no wrong notes. It's not going to be wrong. It's their creation. So let them step outside the box and let them be grateful for the freedom to just create, and let them be as creative as they want to be. I have had many students through the years, and some of them have written some really, dark pieces because that's how they feel. And rather than saying, oh, I don't know, that sounds pretty dark, I'm like, wow, you're so creative. We want to really celebrate their creativity and encourage them to try different things. There's no rule that, oh, you played a wrong note there. No, it was perhaps intentional, and it's what created the mood for them, and it's how they could express themselves. So that is one powerful lesson I want you to really implement into your music studio. Creativity. I'd love to hear from you as to what is maybe something that you use in creativity in your studio. I'm all about sharing ideas. And as I'm music theory coach and love connecting with our ultimate music theory teachers inside the UMT membership, I really love to just kind of brainstorm. What ideas do you have for putting creativity into your music studio? So my one thought for you today I was sharing was the creativity of introducing composition. So if you like composing, give me a yes. Okay. Yes. Yay. You like composing. Me too. I will share a quick story with you. My husband was doing a Christmas album. So my husband, Ray St. Germain, he's in the Canadian Country Music Hall of Fame. He's a very famous singer. He's a recording artist and so on. And so one of the things that I love to do is to do some composing. Now, Joanne just popped up and she said, Joanne Barker, hey, Joanne, she said, my students love composing. So much fun, right, Joanne? So one of the things that happened was my husband was writing a Christmas album. And in the Christmas album, they were short a couple of songs, and it was Christmas, and it was July. He was supposed to go in the recording studio, and he said, I'm not really feeling like very Christmassy. So I decorated the music studio as if it was Christmas in July. I even made a turkey dinner just so he'd get in the mood. And finally he said, would you like to write it with me? And I said, oh, I would love to. So I actually wrote the words to 2 Christmas songs, and my husband wrote the music and he recorded them, and they are on his Christmas album. So when we get closer into Christmas, I'll share those with you. So thanks, Joanne, for jumping in. It is fun to do composing, isn't it? So you said yes to composing, and I appreciate that. Okay, great. Our next one here, let's see what we're all about now. So we're talking about, what are the opportunities that we can put into our studio, and what are we thankful for on this Thanksgiving weekend in Canada land? So our E stands for expression. Expression in music is really the freedom to take what the composer has created and to share that message with the world when we play. But also in expression, take that liberty to play the opposite game. Think about this. If you were teaching Fur-Elise, Beethoven's Fur-Elise, and everyone knows that song, but what if you played the opposite game? That every time it was legato, you played it staccato. And every time it was forte, you played it piano. And you just played the opposite game. I remember when my daughter was taking music lessons and she was learning Fur-Elise. And she had a wonderful music teacher who said, I want you to be expressive when you play Fur-Elise, like put more expression into your music when you're playing. And so Sherry said, no, okay, fine. So a few days later, I heard her practicing at the piano here. And all of a sudden I thought, that's kind of different than what I thought she was supposed to be playing. And she turned it into a little piece that she called Fur-Elise Goes Jazz. And she switched up the rhythm and she made it all funky. And she actually landed up playing it at the music festival and she won first place. So that was pretty cool. So take these pieces that are maybe those ordinary pieces that your student are playing and say, you have permission this week to change the expression, to play forte and make it piano, or to change the rhythmic patterns, or to do something different. But be creative and take that expression and make it your own. So let's see what Gail is come up to. So Gail's sharing with us. Hi, Gail. She says, I do not know how to compose. However, I would like to support my student who likes to compose. Do you teach piano? You know what? I am so happy to see you here, Gail. So I have a little secret for you. If you don't know how to compose and you've never taught it before, you are actually in the right place. Because inside the Ultimate Music Theory program, and I've just got my little beginner C book here, but it actually starts off with beginner A. And when you go through the Ultimate Music Theory program, all of the steps to start your composing are right inside the workbook. So this makes it easy for you as a teacher, because I'm going to be honest with you, Gail, when I started teaching, I was never taught how to compose either. And so often, and first of all, Gail, congratulations for saying, hey, my student wants to do some composing and I'm not sure where to start. So bravo, because you're here and you're saying, let me look for some resources so that I can actually get you started in composing. So I would invite you, Gail, to go to teachumt.com. And there is our Ultimate Music Theory Teachers membership. And there's so many resources for you as a music teacher to get started teaching composing, to get all the little ins and outs, the lesson plans. There's lots of videos in there. And plus we do coaching calls every week. And I would love to see you in one of our coaching calls, Gail. And I can share more with you about how can I just start composing? So, and the Ultimate Music Theory program does incorporate composing into each and every level. So you're starting right with the little baby beginners and the ABC workbooks and going through prep 1, prep 2, basic, intermediate, and advanced as it's incorporated through the Ultimate Music Theory supplemental workbooks. And now, if you are also doing the Royal Conservatory of Music theory exams, Gail, you will also be doing composing with your students because melody writing is part of their music theory examination process now. So, and by the way, the answer is yes, I do teach piano. So thanks for asking, Gail. Great to see you here. Let's see what else Joanne has to say. Oh, thank you, Joanne. She's just given you the link there, teachumt.com. So now we're talking about our expression and the way that we can incorporate creativity and we can play the opposite game, right? So whatever you're working on. So our final note for today is G, and that stands for gratitude. Now, this is an interesting one, and of course it is Thanksgiving weekend here in Canada land, but when I talk about gratitude, I want you to think, sometimes, we focus on all the negative things. Oh, I'm late. I didn't get a chance to get that done. I don't have enough money to do that. I don't have enough time to do that. I don't have the resources to do that. It's just all these things. I don't have enough students. I don't know how to teach composing, just like Gail was sharing. There's all these things. But sometimes we need to just take a minute to be grateful and to think about gratitude. I am grateful that you guys are hanging out with me today. I am grateful that I have an opportunity to learn new things. It's a big thing with me. I love learning new things almost to a fault because I'm always signing up. Let's try something new. I'm like a squirrel, like a little kid in a candy shop. I love to learn new things. It just gets me excited, and I'm grateful for that. So I would love for you to share with me in the chat box, what is one thing you're grateful for today? What's one thing? What is one thing that you're grateful for? Sometimes when we focus on things that we're grateful for, we realize, oh, there's even more things that the universe is bringing to me. So it's kind of interesting, isn't it? When we say, wait a minute, I was grateful for learning, but now I have an opportunity to go to teachumt.com to learn even more. I was curious about this, and I'm grateful for my curiosity, but now I have an opportunity to change that up. Does that make sense for you? Show me some love if you're grateful. Awesome. So let's see. What is Joanne grateful for today? Joanne says, the opportunities life has brought my way. That's a really great thing, Joanne. And there are so many opportunities. Joanne Barker, who is a dear friend of mine, and she's also the Ultimate Music Theory games designer. She's an international best-selling author. Yay, Joanne. And I am grateful not only to call her my friend and my colleague, but just to be a part of her life journey and all the wonderful things that we plan and do together. We just have a lot of fun, and I'm grateful for that. So thanks, Joanne. Let's see. Janet says, what are you grateful for, Janet? I am grateful to learn from you. You're sweet. Mwah. Thank you, Janet. I'm grateful to learn from you as well. Janet is in our Ultimate Music Theory membership, and she's in our coaching program. And one of the things that I'm so grateful for to Janet is that she always has this wonderful PMA, positive mental attitude. She shows up, she's happy, she's there to learn, and she's also there to share her wins. And we talked about that today in our coaching call. What are you grateful for? What are your wins? And how can we grow our business through the three elements that I've shared with you today, through creativity, expression, and gratitude. And that's how we grow our business. So I'm hoping that this is really going to share with you. Thanks, Janet. Let's see what Gail is grateful for. Great. But my student is in level 7 theory, just for fun, and plays advanced intermediate rudiments. I am grateful for my student. And I see it's kind of cut off the rest of it, so I'll read it here. And I'm grateful for my student and for you. Aw, you're sweet, Gail. This particular student has particularly blessed me. Like you, I'm always curious, and I'm grateful for the walk I took this morning. And, sometimes I'm glad you mentioned that, Gail, because sometimes we just are busy. And even if we go for a walk, we're just like, oh yeah, okay, I got to go for a walk, going to do some exercise. But actually, if we just take a minute and say, I'm really grateful for this little walk, this fresh air, just maybe, seeing an animal that hops by. If there's a lot of bunny rabbits where I live. I don't know. It's just like random rabbits that kind of hop around. There's a lot of bunnies in my area. I live close to the river, and, sometimes we see deer that are just crossing. I remember one day I just looked out my front window and there was like 5 deer in the yard, in my front yard. I'm like, where did you guys come from? But I know it was just down the river, and, but it was fun. And I went for a walk, and, I think those are important things to be grateful for. So thank you, Gail, for sharing that. That's really cool. I am so grateful that you guys were hanging out with me today. So remember that you're going to go to teachumt.com. Make sure that you're sharing your CEG today, your creativity, your expression, and your gratitude. And I'm really grateful that you're here sharing with me today. So thumbs up. Have an amazing day. Thank you. And don't forget your Solantito stuffies. By the way, if you are doing some shopping on our shop, shop.ultimatemusictheory.com. Make sure to get your Solantito stuffies, because we have a big contest coming up, and I'm not revealing the secrets yet, but it's going to be super fun. And I want to make sure, and you are going to need all 3 of these. Believe me, you're going to need your creativity. You're going to need your expression, and you will definitely be grateful for this little adventure. So that's coming up we'll probably do an announcement next month, but I can't reveal anything yet. So stay tuned. Just make sure to get your Solantito stuffies. You can get them at the shop.ultimatemusictheory.com, and I will see you inside the membership. So go to teachumt.com, and I will see you there. Thanks. Until next time, teach with passion.